Yes!
There it is.
There it is.
Bumper music by Slipknot. Corey Taylor, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
So
I've been
happy.
stoked about this all morning. I'm like, well, I'm good.
I love, first of all, you don't wake up early in the morning, do you not?
I do, for the most part. You know how it is. You get older,
Yeah.
and you start to get up earlier.
That's right.
So now 7 for me is like my noon.
That's
so
normal.
It's very, very
I mean,
weird.
it is kind of like you do have to remind yourself. You're like, I'm a rock singer.
I can sleep in till 8:30.
Right.
Easily.
Yes. By the way, that's amazing.
And I'm not saying I can't.
No,
okay?
but as two dads with kids, I'm like 8:30. What are you? What are you, an emperor?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Totally. It's like, hello.
Thank
we're
you.
back, we're
Someone
back.
served me. Well, I was telling Randy before when we knew you were coming on the show, I can remember seeing you guys on Conan O'Brien.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that performance, because Randy and I often talk about TV performances that are special and monumental.
Seminal TV performance.
I think Pearl Jam on
Doing a live on
right.
SNL was just
Oh,
remarkable.
It's fantastic.
But I put yours up there in the top 5 because I remember seeing it and going, oh my God,
That's
this is
scary.
insane.
Thanks, man. That was a
How
good
did you,
night
do you
for us.
remember that night?
Oh, yeah, easily. It was a first real kind of big thing, you
Right.
know? And I can remember us being so gnarly and jazzed. Yeah.
You had longer hair. You guys, you
guy.
had like dreads, or no?
I had the dreads coming out in the old mask, but the funny thing is that video is all over the internet now.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who have taken that video and cut it to different songs.
Yes, I
At least
saw
the Green
that.
Day one, which is amazing.
Right.
And it's like they've timed the jumps and everything. I was just like, that's fantastic.
Well,
you
I just
know
remember,
it
I remember
stuck with
Conan
people.
came over and was like, wow.
Yeah.
And he
Every
was
time we
blown away.
played, because we did Conan, I think 3 times, he would come over and he would sit out and watch us do the sound check. So I got to meet him, and he was such a cool guy, you know? Like,
Well,
it was pretty sweet.
I mean, what's interesting is, we've put out albums and whatnot, comedy albums.
Yeah.
The landscape of music and whatnot has completely changed. I mean,
very interesting, yeah.
Nowadays, you don't get radio play, and I'm assuming you guys don't get a ton of radio play on popular radio. Or do you
No. I mean, there's still a pretty decent active rock kind of chart, and there's still some really good, strong active rock stations in America. But for the most part, we get a lot of play on satellite. You know, like Sirius plays us like crazy.
That's
Octane,
awesome.
Liquid Metal. So, and it's doing really well. I mean, pretty much everything that we've released from this new album is really getting a lot of
Talk
play.
about who you guys beat on the songs chart this
We
morning.
beat Taylor Swift.
Yeah!
Beat her down.
Wait a minute. Easy.
Easy.
Sorry.
Well-
Easy. I mean, sorry
would you
about
say
No,
that?
that's
I didn't
terrible.
understand.
No,
Yeah,
but,
that's, we might
but that's a
get some
huge
calls.
accomplishment. Yeah.
That's pretty big, especially in the wake of Gene Simmons' comments about, rock and roll is dead. And and people are asking me, what do you think? And I just laugh,
I don't
because
look at Gene-
it's still there.
I don't look at Gene Simmons as a rock, as actually a rock and roll artist anymore. I look at
Not
him
so
as the
much.
owner of the LA Kiss.
Yes,
Arena
basically.
Football League team. New album, guys. Point 5, The Gray Chapter, which is a whole story, and a lot of people don't understand this. It's a concept album about Mel Gray, former wide receiver for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, which, this is going back a little bit.
Yeah,
so
it was gonna be
obviously-
about Roy Green, but then it was Mel
we're
Gray.
only going into a very, very specific niche.
Going to like the late
we're
70s
trying
when
to
the
corner
football
the
It's the
market.
Grey Cup. It's
the
it's
Toronto
Canada's-
Argonauts.
Yeah,
and
we
the-
were dedicated to it too. So everything is recorded on analog 2-inch tape.
Smart.
I love
so
that.
It's really
Smart.
gritty, and we're only releasing it on 8-track.
What album is this? What number album is this for you guys?
This is our 5th studio album.
By the way, and I don't know if people really understand, because we've released 3 albums, or 4 albums, I'm sorry, right now.
4.
It's a lot to come up with all that material.
Yeah,
To be on your 5th album means you've got a career. You have longevity, and you've done it.
And especially this one, I mean, obviously in the wake of, we lost our bass player, Paul Gray, in 2010. So it's been 4 years, actually it's been 6 years since we released a new album.
Right.
And, we wanted to make sure we took our time coming back and even, considering making new music without him, and then obviously parting ways with Joey. It was a really weird time for us, but, we kind of all sat down and we started going, you know what, let's really try and make something special. And, that's what we did. And this story is basically about the last 4 years.
I love it. Point 5, The Gray Chapter drops this Tuesday. We're here, we talked a lot of football. You are a football fan.
I am
Colts
a football fan.
Colts
absolutely.
fan.
Yeah, I grew up a Colts fan. And now I'm kind of a Colts fan / Broncos fan.
Which is how good Peyton Manning. Like, I was talking about how good Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is so good that when he left, he made the Colts so bad that they got Andrew Luck that they're now good again.
And you know what? And the thing is, I've met Andrew Luck backstage at a show. He's one of the coolest people on the planet.
He's a fan of your music?
Well, I think he's a hard rock fan.
Yeah, okay.
I was doing a show, and I can't remember where we were, but it was with the Dave Grohl Sound City kind of players thing.
Oh yeah.
So he was downstairs, and I turn around and I'm like,
oh my God,
because I'm a diminutive guy.
As are we.
I'm like, it's Andrew Luck. You know, I'm like, hi, how are you?
Well, he is 6'5", but he also sounds in sound bites like he swallowed Andre the Giant.
I know.
He does.
But he's one of the coolest kids I've ever met. You know.
Yeah, he's so
very
together.
Cool. Yeah, very.
And by the way, having a great season.
He's having a great season. You know, the team's doing really well. Started a little weird, but then they're a tough team. You know, I mean, they've got. You know, the defense is really starting to figure it out. They're very stout. He can put up points when he needs to, or he can, you know, kind of bust through the line and get things done with himself.
Well, if that was the Colts last night where the Jets were, I'd be like, oh, they're coming down and they're scoring a touchdown because you believe in that guy. Suddenly, like that element.
That's a guy who we were talking about when Geno Smith didn't make the pass on the 2-point conversion. I'm like, he would have found a way to get into the end zone, even if it was him.
He would have charged in and basically pushed that defense back and walked it in.
Yeah. So, but you are a Broncos fan just as well because of Peyton
absolutely.
and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, I just, you know, obviously I won't get too much into it, but just the way he left the Colts, I thought was just such a shame. And you know, being such a fan of his for how long was he there? Like 13 years.
Yeah.
I was like, well, there's no way I'm not going to watch my favorite quarterback play. You know, and the Broncos, it's weird because he's got so many weapons on offense, but then that defense, you just never know. So,
I mean, I think with Von Miller back, it's a different defense.
Ware's doing really well.
Yep.
And then you got so many. Yeah, I mean, Talib, picking that off the other night against the Jets, right?
Yeah. Well, they needed to make their deal. And I think against Seattle, they actually made the statement of like, okay, if we actually meet you guys again, that's
I think that game came down to the coin toss. I think if the Broncos get it, they go down the field and they score.
Yeah.
So, and I get into arguments with my friends all the time about it. It's like, if they win that coin toss, they win that game, and that's a huge statement.
Yeah.
Huge.
Amazing.
Huge.
Amazing.
All right, we talk about the style of music that you play, and even the NFL, like they do a walkthrough before. Like, how do you rehearse for what you do? Because it seems like it takes so much energy.
It's one of the reasons why my throat's so shot right now. Is
do you go full blast when you're rehearsing?
I try. I always tell the guys, it's like, you know, I'm going to hold back a little bit, and I never do. I'm such a jerk.
Well, first of all, it's all passion. It's 100% passion. Like, how do you dial that down to like? There was an old great Jerry Seinfeld bit about like the guy who used to catch bullets like from a gun in his teeth. It's like, how do they rehearse that guy?
Flip it underhanded to him a couple
and this one's gonna come a little faster, you know. But like that's kind of the way I think it is. It's like like catching bullets in your teeth.
And the cool thing is that I love the fact that I'm in this band too. You know, so when you're a fan, you just naturally get like it's like going to watch one of your favorite bands and you get that jazzed. That's how jazzed I get on stage, getting ready to rehearse songs that I've been playing for 15 years now.
Yeah, and the audience, like we talk about as comedians, the audience for a comedian is as important as anything. I mean, the energy
I'm sure you guys feed off that
they
as
feed
well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a I always say it's almost symbiotic.
It's a dance you
You're
do with
feeding
them.
that energy out, and they're giving it right back to you.
And
so
that will
you
only
can keep
make
that
you
going. Oh yeah, you can go all night.
All right, question. What's the most surprising thing that's in your iPod right now that people would be like, I can't believe he's listening to that, and don't say Taylor Swift?
To be honest, I'm pretty on record as having no guilty pleasures because I'm like, if I like it, why should I feel guilty
That's
about
right. You just love it.
However, I will say I have the 2-disc set of the ultimate edition of Les Mis.
Yeah, he does. That's what I'm talking about.
John Valjean.
And I'll own it.
Yeah, he owns it.
Oh, he just owned
right.
it.
Are you going to question this guy?
No. Crust of bread. That guy's life was ruined.
I know. Well, I mean, look. But it is like about pain and difficulty.
And it is funny. It's kind of like, you know, metal music at times, especially with what System of a Down was doing, can be operatic.
Very much so. Very much so.
And you feel that passion in what you're doing. It's very similar.
You can get into it, especially if you can feel what the story is.
That's right. That's amazing. All right. Predictions. All right. Of the Colts or the Broncos, who do you think has a better chance to make it to the Super Bowl this year? Because both teams are in contention.
I mean, we're not even halfway through the season yet. I think if the Broncos can continue to play the way they are and getting help on defense, I think they can get into postseason easily.
Yeah. But I don't think you can count out the Colts. I don't think you can.
No, absolutely not. I mean, especially because it's not just that they're good; they're plucky. You know, like they'll stick in with you, and you have to beat that team. You don't just win. You have to beat that team.
That's not an easy game for
not
anybody.
at all. Not at all.
That is not at all. All right, we got to take a break. I'm sorry. We got Rob Corddry coming back on the other side of this break. But the album is called Point 5, The Gray Chapter. Tuesday, Slipknot. If you are a Slipknot fan, check it out. If you are a fan of things
If you're not a Slipknot fan yet, you will be.
That's
check
right.
them out.
Thanks so much, Corey.
And that's Les Mis, by the way, that we're playing. Corey
Taylor, thanks for joining us, man.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern, on Audience.